Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Phil Brown from South Shields on South Tyneside. I'm a nurse. I'm campaigning to save the key core and essential services at South Tyneside Hospital. If you haven't seen these posts before, this is day 99 of local posts that I've put out, but we're now taking it onto YouTube. We believe that the plans of South Tyneside Foundation Trust are not configured. We have appealed. We are going to court in less than 6 weeks now, round about the 18th, 19th and 20th of December, probably in Leeds, but possibly at Newcastle, to challenge the Trust's plans. We can't see exactly what those plans will be, although there is the prospect that we will lose our A&E department, Children's A&E department, which is a 24-hour consultant-led facility, maternity and special care baby unit facility, and that was meddled with last Christmas at probably great cost. We believe less than 4 children were born in the 4 weeks that the service was removed to Sunderland, and we would like to know how much that cost. Fact is, South Tyneside Trust currently in the black. Sunderland Trust are in the red of between 127 and 147 £147 million. The catchment area for South Tyneside includes a populace of 167,000, of which 17,000 children referrals come through our doors every year and 63,000 adults. So that's 80,000 extra referrals throughout the year would be going up to Sunderland, with all the difficulties that would entail. And that's a presumption that they're not too badly injured to go to hospital, and that some people, because we have low car ownership, would find the wherewithal to struggle backwards and forwards on 4 buses to that emergency department, or people go up there to a department and then have to go and get medicines, some of which aren't available, and they're told, well, can you come back tomorrow? And people simply haven't got the wherewithal to travel up and down again for the cost of the scripts and the cost of the transport, and the fact that there's no direct link at all, that there's only the prospect for those people of 4 buses in total. Some might have to take 5 or 6 stops along the way. So it really is of concern. And, you know, if you take a further look, we've had the Chief Executive of the Trust, Mr. Bremner, talking back with rhetoric about a tsunami of pressure on the NHS, a tidal wave coming back of financial issues. But that's what he's paid to manage. And he should really go to the Health Secretary and say, you know, if we lose these acute facilities in South Tyneside, we don't believe the fit of it will be good enough for the people of South Tyneside to have to then get to Sunderland. That kind of erodes the kind of need for local authority and local districts within South Tyneside. Never mind the Trust. You know, what other services are going to remain to warrant an independent local authority? Because that'll have an effect. And we're now seeing our fire budgets being squeezed, and we're solidly behind the firefighters and the FBU. But, you know, if Hebburn and Wallsend fire stations, after a 60-day consultation, suddenly go onto low-level working, and we're seeing South Shields School being told that they could close because they haven't got academy status, we're now about to see, admittedly from central government, the pressure on services to continue to get significantly worse. But the key core and essential services, which unify everybody around our hospital, are going to have to remain, because the pressure upon Sunderland would be intolerable. I can't see them being able to cope with the facilities they've got there now, and let alone take all of the other people up from South Tyneside district to the emergency departments in particular. So we continue to fight. We have got a date. It's less than 6 weeks now, just little over a month before you know it, and then we'll be on a pathway to go to court with Irwin Mitchell solicitors fighting on our behalf to challenge the Trust and their plans, to say that they are irrational, because that's the chosen word, the key word on 6 criteria, to suggest that the plans have never been thought through properly by South Tyneside Trust. And we know that the NHS is not for sale. It is going through a distressed state, and it's sending out its SOS. And we've also got, you know, other books coming forward now which demonstrate that people are actively trying to close down the NHS and privatise it. We're seeing care companies like Allied denying that they're in serious financial trouble, but perhaps they are. And then in Tyneside, 1,700 carers short, people trying to jolly along and say, oh, you know, we'll have recruiting fairs and we'll try and get people to come into social care. The money's not there, they're not going to go in. We're seeing a drift now of staff from the NHS who are going into year 10 without any kind of significant rise. And the main block of people in the NHS are the nursing workforce. And so with bursaries being ended, nurses not getting a rise, a retiring workforce as part of the demographic, people are starting to flood away. And then to be made insecure in South Tyneside by the uncertainty of plans from South Tyneside Trust, they are being precipitative of other people in their uncertainty looking for work elsewhere, while at the same time having a jolly out to where the Philippines to try and recruit 100 nurses. So they're part of the problem, they're not part of the solution. This has been badly handled. We hope, and we will really give it our best shot, to say that the plans are irrational and that the hospital should keep its key core services at South Tyneside Hospital. That in itself may put the brake on loss of staff and aid retention. The trust will then have to get on and recruit as best it can. But, you know, some people would say, well, the damage has already been done by the plans of the people of the trust and the CCGs, who, to be quite frank, have been quite reckless in their propositions. Take care. I'm going to put another post out later on today, and see you then.